Okay, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for taking time out of your day to join us for our Authors Roundtable series, all about the authors. We do this every second and fourth Sunday about this time, 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Me and my co-host, the celebrity source Ty. Excuse me, I'm on a high right now, probably because of the tea I was drinking earlier. Don't worry, it really is green tea. But real talk with me and the celebrity source Tyressa Ty. Back in May, we started doing this series, and we wanted to put the spotlight on fellow authors. We know this year has been a little bit different. You know, the book festivals aren't being done exactly the way that they normally are. We know book signings sometimes are done a little bit differently, but part of it is to help other people get introduced to some great authors doing some great things, as well as getting acquainted with the hosts. What we ask is that to keep track of all the work that we've done since May, if you will go on Facebook and add the page All About the Authors, it'll either be All About the Authors or All About the Authors 520. May 20th being when May of 2020 is when we started. Make sure to go to the Facebook page, as we'll continue to update with all the video from all the previous guests that we've had. On Twitter and Instagram, if you add the handle All About the Authors 520, so All About the Authors 520, we'll continue to upload and post different content. And if you are an author, or if you know someone who can take advantage of the opportunity that we're providing, if you email us at allabouttheauthors520@gmail.com, email us with suggestions so that way we can continue to bring some really great people doing great things. Our format's real simple. After me, you're going to hear from our co-host. Our co-host is going to do a short introduction and talk with our first author for about 10-12 minutes. Then I'll get to our second author for about 10-12 minutes, and then we're going to bring everybody together for our roundtable time. For those of you that are on Zoom, if you look in the chat, we have our instructions there. So if you think of a question during that roundtable time you want to ask the authors, or you want to ask us, put it in the chat. We'll get to it. And if you guys are real bold, for those of you on Zoom, if you want to let us see your wonderful, shining, happy faces when we go in that roundtable time, just wave your hand and we'll get to you, and we'll try to answer as much as we can. So at this point in time, I'm going to turn it over to my co-host, who is an author, a brand manager, a good friend of mine. Uh, make sure my emails and my phone messages have a little bit of consistency, because sometimes it's a dry season, y'all. So I appreciate the fact that she looks out. Let's give it up for our co-host Tyressa Ty. What's going on, partner?
Who that? This is a special afternoon. I love Sundays. Sundays are always very special to me, but they're super special when I get a chance to spend time with Drew and to meet some amazing new authors. So I bring you greetings. I am an author among many other things. I'll just tell you to just follow the fire and check out what I got going on, because I can barely keep up sometimes myself. But as Drew spoke to, this has been a very unique and unorthodox season for us all. So the way we used to move is totally different than before. And again, we wanted to provide a platform where authors, known and unknown, will have a place to dock, and people can go and not just get to know you, but you get to know as well. This is a process where it's a give and take. We want you to take something with you. We want you to leave something with you, and we all just be inspired by the process. So I just want to thank you so much for joining us, and I look forward to hearing your story and just this moment that you've allocated to spend with us this evening. I'm super excited to meet all of you.
Okay, so sounds good. So like I said, we've got two great people. I don't know which one of our brilliant guests would like to go ahead and get us started with our first 10 or so minute talk.
I'll go ahead.
Okay. All right, so I'll get us started with our first author. So we've got right here, and we're really excited because it's always great when someone's getting ready to launch their work. So we've got right here, based out of Metro Atlanta, Mr. Trae Johnson. Trae, how are you doing this fine afternoon?
I'm good. I'm good. How are you doing? Hey, Ty.
Hi.
Rise up.
Huh? Now you starting out bad already.
Let's stay on task, ladies and gentlemen, on task. We know there's a game going on, but we've got some things of substance we want to talk about. Trae, get us started. Let people know where you are from, where you're based out of, and before you added the hat of author, what are some of your other moving parts that you're involved with?
Okay. I'm originally born in Augusta, Georgia, but raised in a small city outside of Augusta called Harlem, Georgia, in a community called Campania. Currently, I live in McDonough, Georgia, with me and my wife, Latoya. And what got me interested in writing, I enjoy being creative. When I was younger, I used to be nervous and scared to talk to girls. So the best thing for me to do was kind of write a love note to them. Sometimes it worked, sometimes it didn't. And when I grew, in time, just understanding the craft and learning it, start entering some contests, some essay contests, and I actually won a trip to Denver, Colorado, from a syndicated radio television show. And then through the years, I wanted to write and just been back and forth back and forth. And then when a year ago, I just said, you know what? I'm tired of just talking about what I want to do. I'm ready to make it happen. So I'm excited for my debut novel, Family Scars, coming out this Friday, November 27th on Amazon, paperback and ebooks. Very excited, very hyped up. It's my dream, and I'm trying to live it.
Great. Let me ask you this. Let me ask you this. First off, describe for our viewers, what would you say was really that moment where you pivoted into writing? You talked about a number of things, but when did you decide to really pivot into writing and taking your love for writing to the next level?
Well, I
Is it just me? I miss.
start writing some different, just very excited about it, just the reaction what people was doing, and just I was thrilled about it. So just kept pursuing it. And there are times that I pursued it and I was happy, and then sometimes like life happened and I put it on the shelves. So within like 2-3 years ago, I started writing different stories, just getting excited about it, and just kept moving forth on it. Just wanted to stop talking about I want to be an author, and I just decided to go ahead and pursue it with some great people like yourself and others that kind of educated me about being an author. I got excited and just made the dream come true.
Now, let me ask you this. With your book, Family Scars, describe to everybody what are some of the key themes that your book ends up covering?
Okay, well, my novel, Family Scars, you can see, pretty much is about a story about a well-respected business lost his wife to cancer. So dealing with the heartbreaks of losing his wife and trying to see his next move, what should he do? He now trying to establish a relationship with his kids because his wife usually handles any issues amongst the kids, but now she's gone. Now he has to try to establish a relationship with them, and now realizing that the things that he did in the past that scarred them and that still affect him today, he got to fight those battles with his kids and try to hold his insanity from losing his wife.
Okay, interesting. Ty, what are some questions that come to mind when you're listening to Trae's description?
Well, I was trying to see if it was my phone or something was going in and out. Was it me or was it just me or not? Did you hear? Okay, because it was going in and out. You were discussing the family. This is more like a family book, if you will. what is it that you want people to take away? Like, you know, typically when you write a book, there is and something of this caliber, there is a takeaway. There is a lessons learned, if you will. When people read your book, what is that message that you're ultimately trying to send to them?
The ultimate message is understanding that the things that you plant today can affect somebody in the future. Just be careful the things you do in your actions,
Mm.
and understanding relationships and how critical it is as far as maintaining your life, your family, understanding that the importance of loving someone, being there for someone, and caring for them is highly important. And with the characters, all of them go through different things, perspectives in life that the main character that kind of did to them. So what they learn in time to understand, to forgive, and to move forward.
Okay, good deal. That's all I have.
Okay. So you talked about some of the takeaways that you want readers to have. Um, where do you see yourself going? Do you feel like, and I know you just released you're on the verge of releasing your first book later this week. Do you see yourself going in a similar direction, like looking at family dynamics, or are there other topics you think you may gradually want to cover as part of your journey in writing?
In my journey writing, I have got a variety of different things in my background. I'm a financial aid officer for a state college. So I have a book coming out about financial aid and how to deal with college life, especially if this your first year in college. I have a romantic side, so I have a book called Protect Your Heart. This kind of discuss being romantic with the ladies and trying to be cautious of things you do. So I have different things I got going on that I've written that I'm looking forward to put out there. I even have a self-help book that I'm working on now to motivate and encourage people.
Okay, so it's good, and I think it's great, and it's nothing wrong with sticking with one genre, but you're looking at not only things do you have, quote, the professional experience in, but also some other just regular everyday things that people can take away. So it's pretty
Exactly.
good that you're starting off with something that's family themed and looking at that family dynamic, but you're willing to explore other things, whether it's like you said, professional experience or just some other, just I'll say just general tidbits or things along those lines, which is pretty good. Ty, do you have anything else that you might want to throw at Trae?
No, so Trey, this is your first book.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Did you self publish?
Yes, ma'am. I'm self-published with name my publishing company is Campania Publishing, named after the community that I grew up in. So I'm definitely happy and thrilled to be an entrepreneur. And if anyone's interested as far as about the book or any information how to get the book, definitely check out my website, www.traejohnson.com. That's TRAE Johnson.com. I'm gonna have a lot of news and information, and definitely check out the website. But I'm thrilled to be a self-publishing author, independent.
All right. That's it for
Okay.
me.
That is great. And I think, especially when you get that first one done, I think any of us who've written can say the hardest thing is getting started. And once you get started, you keep moving forward. So I think, for what you've been able to do, getting ready to have this first one, available this coming Friday, some of the things you're laying in place, you're really taking the craft seriously. So that's really, really good to see.
And once again, in my book, I dropped a lot of acknowledgement as far as my wife, my family, and friends. And I also want to acknowledge you, Andrew. Again, I've been knowing you for 2+ years, and you've been giving me a lot of great advice and a lot of wisdom. So I want to thank you for all that you've done for me personally. So again, thank you, and I appreciate you for your help.
Well, I tell you what, you're welcome. And like they say, none of us got here by ourselves, because part of the reason I'm co-hosting this is because co-host helped me out. So it's like none of us got here by ourselves. So thank you for taking time to share what you're doing. We're excited that you're getting ready to, the first one is dropping later this week. And what I'm going to do exactly, I'm going to do it this time. I'm going to pass it over to Ty, since I got to talk with someone from my neck of the woods in Metro Atlanta. I think it's only right, the whole 504, the boot, all that stuff. We're going to let y'all chop it up with the next person. So go ahead, Ty.
Hi, Mr. Robinson.
Hey, how you doing?
I am great, baby. I'm great. I'm excited. So you are from Louisiana.
Yes,
So I
ma'am.
am talking to a homeboy. Look, you may be my cousin because my mama's maiden name was Robinson. You know how it goes. Okay, so we always want to connect with people and find something that makes sense in this crazy world. But I am super duper excited to have have you here this afternoon, and just tell us a little bit about yourself. I'm dying to know more about you, and then after that, I'm gonna just kind of chime in and pull some other stuff that I need to know before this interview is over.
Okay, all right. I feel remiss to start off with who that. While I'm here, I want to start off with that. Trae, don't shake your head. Go ahead. All right. So no, yeah, I'm actually from Marrero, Louisiana. I was born in Marrero, Louisiana, but I have a lot of family from West Bank and East Bank. My grandfather, my deceased grandfather, actually owned a tire shop over off of North Carrollton, the Robinson Tire Shop. He owned it for years, at least until he passed. The family no longer has it anymore, but I spent many a days paying to go across that bridge, when we had it. It's not like that anymore. I
Right.
spent many a days paying to go across that bridge. I've been around, I've been all around, I've even been to North Dakota at a small point in my life, thanks to my brother who actually took me with him when I was about 13 years old and kind of raised me from that point forward. I've even stayed up in North Louisiana, up in Shreveport, and been all the way back down to Baton Rouge, where I was about 14 years when I came here out to San Antonio, where I'm reunited with my brother and my family and my girlfriend. So, yeah, kind of been all around.
That's dope. So tell me, you're well traveled. You're from Marrero.
Yeah.
And yeah, so tell me, a little bit about your book. What made you decide to be an author? Okay. And what inspired you? And then tell me a little bit about your book.
Okay. Well, I actually started, I wrote a little story back when I was in 5th grade. It was like a ghost ship story. And my school put it in the school newspaper, and it was pretty good, as far as they said, and they really liked it. And I kind of stepped away from it. Over the years, I wrote small poems, just inspired by current events over time. And my first project was going to be a poetry book, but I was actually prompted to write this book. What happened was, in a former marriage, my ex-wife, we did a prompt, and I don't want to talk about the prompt too much. I want to give the first chapter. The first chapter was inspired by that prompt. I did that back in 2016 when I was finishing my master's, and I kind of stepped away. And earlier this year, I happened to walk into Walmart, and I saw the cover for Children of Blood and Bone. And I said, that's wonderful, but Keelan, you got something you have to do, something you have to finish, and you have to finish it now. And so from that point on, I went into writing, and the name of my book is Crescent Moon. It's actually a fiction title. The book Crescent Moon is Crescent City, baby. Crescent City. That's where it's based, and it's going to travel kind of around Louisiana before it's all done. The biggest thing about the title is that it's kind of my ode to one of the comedy classics, Harlem Nights. So that's why I went with kind of Crescent Moon, because it is a bit of a detective action thriller, but at the same time, there's a little bit of everything for everybody.
That's what's up. So is this your first book?
It's my first. It's the beginning of a series. I'm going to make at least 3 books. I'm working on the second one right now, but this is going to be at least 3 books.
Oh, wow. That's very intriguing. And of course, I love the title. I knew when you said Kristen, I already knew where they came from, just the culture. But
Yeah.
Typically people write about, do a lot of self-care books, especially when you look at writers from the South.
Yeah.
Like, what inspired you to do something kind of, off the trail of what the typical person writes about?
Yeah, well, I feel that we have a lot of reality stuff going on. There's a lot of reality television,
Right.
We don't even, we have to shows like Family Matters and Cosby, which were not reality, but they were written for us to kind of see the things we could do if we push ourselves in reality.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of went the way of doing fiction because it provides a certain lightness for it. Yeah, there's some strong themes in it. There's some things I may suddenly press on that are serious, but you can enjoy it and walk away from it. It kind of derived partially from some real events that have happened. The book was written, originally was started to be written before the Alton Sterling events, and everything that happened afterwards were kind of inspired by the things that happened after the Alton Sterling, the Philando Castle, and other events that even lead us to 2020, the things that have happened and things in between. So I wanted to put out something that was like something for adults. I feel that a lot of our heroes have been made for our children, and now I put something with the adult twist on it. These are our heroes, but they actually have adult problems. It's no longer that we can just cause a multi-car accident and then walk away and there's no repercussion for it. I don't know if you're familiar with the saying, but there's a saying that no good deed goes unpunished. Well,
Oh yeah, I know about
the crescent moons, it becomes.
That's a grandpa.
Yeah.
Your grandpa and your grandpa gonna tell you that right there with your baby.
Right. And it's something I've lived and it's something I've understood. So, I mean, and with that, I've kind of put that in this book and kind of run with it as well as some other things that I've seen and experienced in life that I just wanted to put into this work.
So is this like a social justice, racial tension, Wakanda type book?
No. So
we were talking about Sterling, which I'm very familiar with.
Yeah.
My undergrad is at Southern University, so I've spent some time in Baton Rouge, and then I moved there as well. But I'll talk about that later.
Right.
But I heard you talking about superheroes, and that's why I was just kind of throwing out there. Those were things that I was picking up, so I wanted you to kind of make sense of that to me.
Yeah, and the word superhero, it has a hint of superhero flavor. It's not these big, monstrous beings that go out and rule the world. It's actually, they're a little bit more humanized than that. But I think over the years, what we felt about heroes is that they have to be these great, perfect beings, and that's just not realistic. It's just not true. Our lives are not perfect. Our circumstances are not perfect, and unfortunately, most of the time, neither are our heroes. And what Crescent Moons does is take you down that wormhole of reality of being the hero, and what happens is, like I said, no good deed goes unpunished.
That's so, I like that. And when you were talking about, the superhero part of it, making it human, more from a human standpoint, I could dig that because, I mean, reality is the superheroes, our real life superheroes are human beings. And these are the people that's out there hitting the pavement, fighting for our rights, just doing the big and the small, even just a little lady that may seem insignificant, that's standing out giving a, you mentioned Walmart, giving a little sticker at Walmart. She's 70 now, but she paved the way. She's, knocked down doors, and she's washed clothes, and she's done all these things to provide an opportunity for us, for her grandkids, for her kids. It's so many heroes out there that we know nothing about. And I like what you're talking about. And a lot of times I'm just, I'm getting to meet you guys and I'm trying to put it all pieces together because I get excited. But, in our time, or whatever in age, we would pull to people, you know, as relates to television, you know, growing up and watching, you know, different TV shows, and we modeled what a family's supposed to look like from that, and you know how a dad is really, you know, how a dad is the superhero and different things of that nature, by, or you know, pulling from entertainers and athletes, like they were what we considered, you know, a superhero, because we didn't really understand it. And so it sounds like your book is making it real life, and it's actually, you know, I say a lot of times like sifting, because I'm a cook, because because everybody, we all cook. That's what we do. You know, we cook in Louisiana. So I'm thinking about just sifting out the good stuff, you know, the good stuff, and being able to bring it to life for our generation, and helping people to see that you don't have to fly across the sky to be, you know, influential and impactful, if you will. You know, you can be this average person every day, but you're making an imprint. And sometimes you're that quiet storm. Sometimes you are not flying, but you can't Clark, but you can fly and you have flown. And so, you know, I like that. I like that. And I love when our culture can pull a unique part and show us in a different light, versus, you know, people thinking all we could do is throw a football, or, you know, rap or things of that nature, to say, hey, you know, we have more talent than that, and we have more to give. And spending that time to help us look at our people in a different light, us personally, not just us, but other cultures look at us, because I don't think we acknowledge each other enough, ourselves as heroes, you know. So I can dig it. I like that, and I'm very interested in your book. So what is it that you like? If you had to sell your book, what would you, you know, just by a brief synopsis, like what would you say to people? Like, you know, tell me about your book. I want to buy your book. What is kind of like the takeaway that you want people? Now I told you what I took from what you said, and I haven't read it, right? You wrote it. Right. So you tell me. So you tell me what it is you want people to get from this book.
Okay, and thank you for that. Thank you for that opening to that. And I want you to, and Tyrese, this is especially for you, if you can imagine a relatively non-crime-ridden New Orleans or Crescent City, as it's written here. If you can imagine that. And then, as you know, even when things are going well, sometimes it's not good enough for everybody. Right. There'll always be somebody that opposes the good, the bad, and the ugly, but a lot of times it's the good. It's the problem most of our heroes have, that even when we have these heroes that are standing on the shoulders of giants, there's somebody with the bazooka ready to knock them down.
Haters, I call them haters.
Yeah, yeah. So, and sometimes it could be something as small, something as significant, something as poisonous as a spider. And what happens when this book opens up is a couple of our heroes are being taken over by a foreign threat. And, you know, somebody's got to go. It's either one of them or it's the guy across from him. And unfortunately, somebody doesn't make it out, and the events carry on from there. The biggest thing is, no matter what we do, keep your eyes open, because you always got somebody in the midst kind of watching you and kind of working against you.
Oh, wow. That was dope. Thank you so much for sharing. And did you self-publish?
Yes, I did. Yes, I did. It's self-published through Amazon. It's also in Kindle format. I've been asked about doing the Audible format. I just don't have the. I might do it eventually with the Audible format. I'm really considering. I just haven't done it yet.
Okay. All right. Well, tell everybody how they can reach you and get the book and all those great things. If you have anything coming up that you want to share.
Yes, yes. So in order to get Crescent Moons, like I mentioned before, you can go to Amazon. It's $15 there. It's also there's the Kindle version is available on there for things of that. I also have some available that I will personalize and send out to you. If you want to reach me at my Facebook page, which is K.E. Robinson author page, or if you want to reach me at my Instagram page, which is liquid_line_and_the_layers, which I'll put it in the group chat so everybody can kind of see that. But I'm reachable at those two. I'm also reachable as Keelan Robinson on Facebook. If you just can't think of the other two, if you want to just give them my regular name, Keelan Robinson on Facebook.
All right. Well, thank you so much for sharing. I really enjoyed my time spent with you, and we got to stay connected.
Yes, yes, we do. Yes, we do.
Drew?
Yeah, I tell you what, this is part of the reason we love doing this. When we get a chance to hear other people's stories, it's big, and hear other people's journeys. I'll get started with a question for both. And again, here's something. All of us learn something as part of our journeys when we decide to take on the hat of writing or an author. What would you say is one of the lessons you've learned so far that you'd like to articulate with others? So what's one thing? I know there's always a bunch of things we learn, especially if this is your first book or what have you. What's one of the biggest lessons that you've learned so far that you want our viewers to understand, or at least get a better point of reference with?
Okay, for me, it's about dedication. It's about, you say you want to do something, do it. And then once you do it, take the fear out your spirit and go for it. I know I'm a little nervous and anxious because this is my first project. So now I'm putting it out to the world. And so you're going to have people that love it, some people hate it. You just got to deal with the situation, learn from it, and move forward. If this is what you want to do as a career, then you want to deal with some adversity. You're going to deal with some great things. So eliminate fear, move forward. Always put God first in your life and keep pushing. Because again, I learned in life from my grandmother, you can't please everybody. So those that you can please, be appreciative for their love and their dedication, and then move forward. But yeah, keep pushing forward.
And that's a pretty good summarization. And I kind of tail on to that, Trae. One thing I've kind of learned, and even just kind of watching and looking around, is that we are more talented than we'll give ourselves credit for. Sometimes we see these other books come out and these other media come out, and you're like, well, somebody really did that. And my thing is, if you can criticize, you can probably go ahead and even if you don't criticize, you should probably go ahead and make your own. If you think you could create something better, there's plenty of platforms. I learned from really, Hulu and Netflix. First of all, they get material from elsewhere, but they make their own originals, and they pay the people, and they put some pretty good content out there on their own, aside from the stuff they get from elsewhere. And even in, I was just looking the other day, there's NFL players that are starting to act as their own agents because there's things that they can do that they feel that they can take care of their money at their own. Now, the 3% that they're giving the agent, or 10%, whatever it is, isn't really hurting them, but they feel like they have their best interest more so than the agent does. And when you come out here and you feel like you have a product to put out, go ahead and do it. Like Trae said, they're either going to love it or they're going to hate it. But more importantly, it has to come through you first. If you love it enough to put it out, it's worth being put out. And there's no question about it.
Here's another question that I'd like to put out there in regards to the writing journey. And you guys said it with your individual time, but I'd like for you again to reinforce the key themes, which kind of bridge to the key takeaways. So like you said, when someone picks up your book and once they've gone through it, what's at least, I'll say, one key theme you want them to be able to take away? And what's one, I'll say, related takeaway when it's like, wow, What did I really get from this? So K.E., let's go ahead and have you start.
Yeah, and kind of what I alluded to before, the biggest thing that I wanted to bring to the table is that our heroes are not perfect. They're often everyday people like me and you that may not always get the credit for it. And even as not these glamorous people, they will sometimes face opposition on their way to whatever their goal is. Things work better when we're all working together on this common goal. There will be opposition. There's no doubt about it. There's billions of people on this earth, and we feel differently, and we're created differently about many things. But the biggest thing I want people to do is when they get this book and open it, hey, heroes are not perfect. You're going to see that in the beginning. You're going to see it in the end. But also, I want you to enjoy yourself. I wrote this to be an adventure ride, a thrill ride, and the biggest testament to it so far, if you go on Amazon and look at it, have been the reviews and ratings so far. And that's really my biggest blessing in all of this, just seeing that people are thoroughly enjoying this title and are thoroughly kind of rushing me to make the second one. I'm going to take my time. I would take my time and put out the second one because I want to make sure that it lives up to or is beyond this first one.
Okay, and then for me, when someone pick up Family Scars, I want them to enjoy the book. When they read it, I want them to understand or kind of relate to some of the stuff in the book. For example, losing someone with cancer. When you lose someone, especially somebody who's a matriarch, that kind of can hit the whole family. So reading this and reading about the characters, how they handle things, and it's sadly it takes something that bad to hit you in life, so you can kind of understand some things that you need to get yourself better or try to help yourself, we can say. And so reading the book, I want someone to understand, even if you get mad at a character or can't stand him or her, you understand. You can understand their situation. And so I want someone to read the book to understand the hurt that one man is dealing with. And even you may think about somebody else you know personally that can go on through the same things as Ellis. Again, you have someone who's well respected. He's a dick of his church. The community loves him. But unfortunately, his family look at him differently. So we may know some people just like that who's all clean cut, but behind closed doors has a lot of dirt on him. So just want you to enjoy it, sit back, and then just enjoy Family Scars.
All right. Drew, are you there? I'm having some issues over here, so I'm trying to see if y'all hear me.
Yeah, I can hear you just fine. I know it's always entertaining when they say two or more are gathered on Zoom. You hear like all 5,100 things on there.
I'm just like,
Ty, do me a favor. There's a question on the chat that I'd like for you to ask, and it comes from Virgil Lee Dortch. So, Ty, I'm going to have you take the lead on that one.
okay, what is the question? Because I don't have my computer's not
okay
working.
Okay, I'll put the question out there. Here's the question, and this is for Trae, and it's from Virgil Lee Dortch. So Virgil, thank you for being on here. And it based on your description, it sounds like Family Scars comes from a very personal place. What was your motivation or frame of reference for this novel?
Okay. Well, when I thought about writing this novel, I wanted to have a little personal for myself, and then I wanted to have something that most everybody can relate to. And so, when writing the book, I know I lost my mother to cancer, I lost my grandmother to cancer, I lost my uncle to cancer. So, unfortunately, I lost some people that I love with this disease. So, I wanted to write a story that one person passed away from cancer, who was the matriarch, who the family pretty much connected to. And so even if you may not get along with the other family members, that matriarch, the person that you stayed by, contacted, communicated. And so once that person is gone, now how's the family going to function? And so different personal issues happened to me, but then I sat back and kind of looked around and seen similar situations with other people, how they handle things, or even how they met with new friends that kind of helped them out. I know a lot of us in the Black community don't look too highly when we talk about therapy, but sometimes even if you might not go to therapy, being around the right people who can encourage and motivate you can kind of help your situation out, and who can open your eyes to what you need to do for yourself better, to kind of bring back that relationship that you had with your kids, family, and friends.
Okay, that's great. And I think, at different times writers will pull a little bit of personal experience in there. Part of it is cathartic. Part of it is a checkpoint to see how much you've grown, but like you said, part of it is that there's someone else out there who has lived it or experienced it, and those are stories that you can continue to amplify. Let's see. Ty, I'm going to get you on here. Ty, do you have a wind down question that you have for both of our authors?
Well, I pretty much asked everything that that I wanted to know in regards to what did they want to leave with people. Me, although I'm deep in entertainment now, deep. I was a corporate girl prior to this, and I was a sales manager for Coca-Cola and for Cox Communication and AT&T, and a trainer. So for me, I always want to know, how can you, selling yourself. People buy before people can, and this may be more of a just something a nugget that I'm sharing. Before people know you, because typically, if you're a new author, they don't know you. But like, Mr. Robinson was saying that, you're just as good. You're the next Netflix or Hula, okay? People just don't know yet. So, I always like to know, your pitch. Like, what will you leave with people? What can you say to people to let them know? Even though you don't know my book, they're buying you initially. And so you have sometimes one opportunity to say what you need to say to entice a person to be more interested in buying your book. And so I think those were the reason why I asked the questions that I asked, because I wanted you to sell yourself, in conjunction with the book, right? And then just asking you, what is it that you wanted to leave with people? And the reason why I asked those two questions is that, what is it? What's the purpose? What's the vision? When I think about, working in corporate America and also being an author myself, it's like whether it's fiction, or not, it's like, what is it that you need to have a purpose and a vision to anything that you're trying to present to people. Anything that you're passionate about, it should be attached to a purpose and a vision, because that's what make people buy whatever it is that you have. That's a marketing. I have my MBA in marketing. That's a marketing tactic that that you have to use as well when you're trying to influence people to get it, because it's an amazing book, but you have like a 2-minute spiel to get them to buy it. And so I just wanted to get that from you all, and you did a great job of sharing, what your book is about. Tell me what it's about. And also, just sharing kind of what you have in store for us, and you both are working on different books. So Mr. Robinson is coming in with a series, so that's going to be exciting, and that's a good way to allow your readers to stay connected, because if you leave them with an open-ended book, if you will, right, they're going to want to have to buy the next book so they can see what happened. And so that's always a very smart tactic, if you can do it, to lead them over to the water, right? And have them to continue to want to buy your book and see what's next. So I always think that's a great tactic if you could do it that way, you know. So, and then Mr. Johnson, of course, you know, he's going in different directions, and he's, you know, he wants to do relationships and talk about you know, the college experience and family and different things, and more real life things that's going on. And I think that that's great as well, that, you know, giving your readers an opportunity to not, you know, it's good for people to know. It's either or. It's good for people to know that I can just depend on Mr. Robinson. He gonna bring us that drama, baby. He gonna do this, and I'm excited, right? But then Mr. Johnson, you know, it's real life things that's going on, and I need to know, you know, when it comes from a family dynamic, whether it's college, whether it's kids, whether it's romantic or whatever. Let me go Google him and see what he got coming out. Just be true to yourself, you know. Be true to yourself. Don't try to be like nobody else. And I heard you say, Mr. Johnson, that you're a little nervous. You don't need to be nervous with us, because, you know, this is very lax. Drew is more, you know, he has to put the whip out on me sometimes because I get out of control, because that 504, come on, you know. And but I just like to be, you know, I like to keep it real, because people love real, you know. And not that he doesn't, because he's who he is, but the thing about it is we're just, you know, we bring you two different flavors, and it's good because we can reach all different types of people. But with you, you know, you just have to be good with who you are and yourself, right? And whatever it is that you decide that you're going to be that, and just be cold-blooded with it, and just you know, be bold with it, and know that there is a place for you, right? And there are people for you. You have your people. Everybody's not your people, but you have your people. And so you just, you know, you just connect to those people and not worry about the people that's not yours. And you guys are going to do very well as a first author. I know you will.
Thank you.
So on that, before we get ready to wind down with the closing notes from the host, again, Trae, remind people the title of your book, where they can purchase it, how to stay connected with you, and K.E., the same thing. Your book, how to purchase, how they can stay connected with you. Go ahead, Trae.
Okay, first thing first, again, I'd like to thank you, Andrew, and Ty for giving me this opportunity as a brand new author to speak out. And definitely want to just a quick 5-minute shout out to everybody who's on that I invited to come on. Thank you. Thank you to my frat brother, KB from New York, my frat Quentin, my sister, my wife, everybody online. Again, thank you for your support and love. My school classmate, thank you. My novel, Family Scars. It will be coming out on November the 27th. Family Scars. You can get it on Amazon. Check it out, Amazon, paperback and ebook. If you want to look me up, you can go on Instagram, author Trae D. Johnson. That's author Trad Johnson. Or you can go to my website, www.traejohnson.com. Again, that's Trae Johnson.com. You can hit the subscribe button. You can be on my newsletter mailing list. I have something coming out real soon this week. And again, thank you in advance for those who go ahead and purchase this book. And with Andrew, I had gave Andrew an advance copy. And I want to, just for appreciation, love for me being on this show, Ty, I would like to give you an advance copy of the book as well. Again, thank you for blessing me to be on this show this afternoon. I enjoyed myself. Once I start talking, I lost the nervousness out of me. I feel like I can talk all the time, but I'm a little shy, so I'm about to be quiet now. But again, Family Scars, you should be seeing something in the mail this week. Thank you, and God bless. And thank you, everybody who supported me. Thank you, Lee. And my frats, my sisters, my wife, thank you. And now I'm about to be quiet now before Andrew kicked me off. Thank you, Family Scars.
Don't worry, Trae, man. If Andrew wants to kick anybody out, it would be me, for me busting into his party on, last week. But he'll tell you all about that later.
Go ahead, K.E. You're good. Go ahead, sir.
No, but honestly, along that same token, I want to thank all the people who, went out and bought the book. Even when I first who hadn't seen a chapter of it, who hadn't known anything about it other than the fact that I had written it, who had went out and instantly went out and bought it. To people that I don't know that bought it, I appreciate you too. People who commented on it and gave their ratings and their descriptions. And also, like I said, Crescent Moons by K.E. Robinson. Make sure, because there's a few titles that are Crescent Moons, and they'll say Crescent Moon Chronicles is a series, but mine is under K.E. Robinson. If you all get a chance, I also want you to take note of my illustrator, Mr. J. Flow Art James Flowers. He's a very talented man. He lives in Washington, D.C., or he works in Washington, D.C. He's from White Castle, Louisiana. Very, very talented guy. If you guys get a chance, please check out some of his art. And if you look closely at this book, you can see some of the canvas striations in it, and we kind of did that on purpose so you knew that you were, at the very least, if nothing else, you were getting a piece of art in the cover with the book if you enjoyed nothing else about it. But you could find it, like I said, at Amazon. You can find it on Kindle, and you could also contact myself if you want some of the autographed or personalized copies. I'm at Keelan_Robinson@yahoo.com. That's Keelen. I'm also at kerosene28@gmail.com. I can also be reached, like I said, at the Facebook page, K.E. Robinson Authors page, and at the Instagram page where I've been contacting Mr. Snorton, liquid line in the layers, in which I put it in the chat box because I have it spelled kind of awkwardly.
Well, I tell you what, thank you so much. Well, before I close out, real quick, we got to hear from the hosts who, kind of bring everything together. I'm going to go ahead and give this over to Ty so she can give a closing note and remind people of how you can stay connected with her. And then I'll round it down. So Ty, go ahead.
Again, you guys, thank you so much for spending this time with us today. I want to thank your family and friends who also joined us. Look, those are some troopers, okay? So I definitely want to send a shout out to them. Your love and support is everything, especially for a new author or entrepreneur. I am celebrity host Tyrese Ty, and all that and bag of chips. Make sure you follow me on Instagram at FIYAHTYRESSATY, Fire Tyrese Ty, on all social media outlets. I am I'll say connect to many of the stars and celebs in the entertainment world. I do brand and marketing for a lot of the celebrities, social media management, things of that nature, and role management. It's always so hard for me to talk about myself. And of course, I have 14 journals. So if you're a person that likes to journal, if you don't, you should journal. Make sure you snatch I'm going to solicit you to snatch one of my journals for the holidays. You share it with your family and friends. If you have kids, it's good for the rich, the poor, the young, the old, the red, the white, the blue, and the yellow. I believe in journaling, and I also have a book, Follow the Fire. And let me see, I have a few interviews coming up. I have Divas and Dolls coming up. That's my Christmas initiative. This is my 7th year doing that. And I'm just excited. I just finished a project with Teddy Riley. I was working on during the pandemic, and that was a challenge, trying to fly to Vegas and with 14 masks on. It's because I was nervous. But so I've worked on a lot of different things throughout the pandemic that I could do virtually, and I just thank God I'm here and alive. I've dealt with unfortunately 4 deaths in the last 7 days. So I just have for me, just breathing and just being alive, those things mean so much more now than they ever did before. So I'm a lover of people. I'm a lover of passion. And I just like to support everybody that has anything going on. I want to also say that, during this process, when we're doing these things, make sure you tell your family, your friends to follow Mr. Snorton as well. that you follow us and stay connected to us. We have a lot more exciting things. And the thing again, before I leave, is that it's for you to give and take. Okay, it's not a one-way street here. It's for deposits and withdrawals. So I'm asking you to, allow us to help, promote you as well. And don't forget to tag your family and friends and tell them, hey, go follow those two. They got some dynamic things coming up. And if you know other authors that you follow, that you are connected with, again, this is not a competition. Okay, we're gonna make it. So tag them as well and tell them to get connected with us, because we want to take time out to spend a few minutes with all the aspiring authors, new or old, and just allow us to all be encouraged and embraced by the moment. So again, I just want to say thank you. I've enjoyed you, and it's just been a pleasure. It's been a pleasure indeed.
Okay, so in getting ready to wind things down, number one, this is what Ty and I have been really happy to do starting back in March. And again, it's about sharing our platforms and sharing exposure. It's allowing readers from different pathways to get engaged, get connected, and support. So if this is your first time being with us, please don't let it be the last time. If this is your first time hearing about the authors, hearing about the host, don't let it be the last time. Just a couple of real quick things for me, for people that want to stay connected with me. Facebook, author Andrew Snorton. Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, author A Snorton. You can email me at authorasnorton@gmail.com. The only real things I'm going to share about is with the holidays coming up, you guys are seeing the official leak. So we've got the mugs ready. So we'll be dropping more of that info during the week. So that way it's a holiday, stocking stuffer. And even though I've done multiple books, I really am proud about all the work, but definitely Nothing Minor, which is the book that I released on minor league baseball. The reason why I say that, I've been very blessed. Just like Ty said, she's got interviews coming up. I've been very thankful for the interviews I've had on sports radio, with other different platforms and things along those lines. And the reason I like that book, it isn't just because of the game coverage. It isn't just because of the partnership with Emery Rose Photography that helped me, but the two main reasons I'm really proudest about this book. Number one, the interviews are with mostly African-American players. And that is a narrative that gets bypassed and overlooked when it comes to baseball. And the second thing, even if you're not a fan of the game, the history component. There's a section that focuses on the Negro Southern Leagues Museum based in Birmingham, Alabama. They actually have the largest archives of Negro Leagues memorabilia. And a lot of people got their introduction to Negro Leagues a few years ago with the late Chadwick Boseman and the great job he did in the movie 42. But this year, and I know because of the now normal, it hasn't been pubbed as much, but this year is the 100-year anniversary of the Negro Leagues. So to be able to have a chapter that talks about that talks about the museum, talks about the impact of players, and talks about the personal connection right there, if nothing else, beyond the gamemanship and beyond all that, if you're a lover of our stories, and especially, like I said, majority of players interviewed are of African-American background, and looking at the Negro Southern Leagues Museum, even if you're not a fan of the game, I think all of us can say we are a fan of us telling and sharing our stories and our narratives, and keep it going and keep the seed planting going. So on that note, we want to say thank you. We appreciate your patience, as we will upload this recording to our page. Again, it's all about the authors on Facebook. All About the Authors 520, marking May 2020 is when we started this. So that's on Instagram and Twitter. And we'll start chopping up some of the archival video for Instagram and Twitter. But make sure to go to the Facebook page and go into the video. We'll continue to upload the videos from September, October, obviously today, things along those lines. But again, please stay connected with us there. Please stay connected with our guests for today. Please look back at some of the other great authors that we've had and other great authors that are on the horizon. And please don't forget about the hosts. We're just thankful. Other people have allowed us that helped us to, regarding their platform. So, when you have somebody with, I'll say, the star power of my co-host, who she was a little bit more low key today. I mean, yeah, she's got the Saints shirt on and all that, but she was a little bit low key today. But real talk, when you have someone who you can work with who's passionate and purposeful, this is what happens.
Sometimes a little too much.
I'm not going to confirm or deny. I'm just going to say, when you have people that are passionate and purposeful, there are good things that can happen. So I'm very thankful to team up with her. And because of, like Ty said, this isn't competition. There is a space for everybody. And because of that space for everybody, this is why we're where we are. And this is why we're able to take it to another level with it being a standalone. And we're just going to continue to keep it moving as positive and powerful as possible. So I thank everybody, who's taken time on today, taken time on previously, and we're going to keep this positive and moving. So to everybody out there, seriously, please be safe in your travels, whether you're staying local or you're going away. Please be safe out there. Please, I'll say this. You don't have to be paranoid, but don't be foolish either. And I think y'all know what we're talking about. Don't be paranoid, but don't be foolish either. We want to see you again. We don't want to view y'all anytime soon. We want to see y'all.
I think that's probably why my energy is a little like, when you think about attending like 3 funeral services in 1 week on live. I mean, you just sitting there thinking like, this can't be live for one, and then it's just, it's people that you've went to school with and played with. These are not people that's 50 or over, these are people 30, and you just sitting there like 40, and you like, wow, this is where I'm at. So I if you didn't get 100% of Tyrese and Ty, you just gotta come back.
All I'm gonna say is this, which even speaks.
Yeah.
Well, I'm gonna say this, Ty. It speaks even stronger to you. The proverbial, you give what you can. Don't get we all look. Everybody on here knows we get pulled in so many different directions, whether physically, emotionally, spiritually, whateverly. It happens. So the fact that you were willing to give what you could, even that is encouraging somebody and blessing somebody. So don't, like I've told anybody, and like I have on the back of your on this mug right here, the statement says, embrace your greatness. Embrace your greatness. And it doesn't matter if you're having an off day or you're 1100, you embrace your greatness. So on that note, to everybody out here, writers, supporters, everybody out there, y'all keep embracing your greatness. You owe it to yourselves, and you owe it to the people who are counting on you to the best of your ability to go ahead and make that special delivery. So on that note, all of you stay encouraged, take good care, keep it moving as positive and powerful as possible. Be safe out here because we want to see y'all again.
And we want to tell the Falcons fans, unfortunately, you couldn't rise up.
Look,
so
I rose out of bed, so I don't know.
have several seats.
I rose out of bed and rose into this seat, so I knew.
I'm supposed to have my chopper style ready to end this interview with.
That's all right. We still got 10 people from the 504. We all know how you do. Just go ahead and celebrate. We love y'all too. But for real, we're going to go ahead and find this down. But like I said, seriously, y'all, please stay encouraged out there. Please, again, at whatever level, embrace your greatness. Embrace your greatness because you still have it in you regardless of what others think. So you still got it in you. So all of you take good care. We're going to go ahead and stop this recording. Let me go ahead and stop this recording. You just finished watching All About the Authors. Make sure to add All About the Authors 520 on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube. And make sure to check us out. We'll see you.